What do you hate most about the world today? Lack of empathy everywhere. Dating. Platonic social interactions. Workplace. Online in general, people be treating each other like expendables. I don't know why. Or if the world was always this way and I'm only noticing as an adult. It's actually lack of compassion more than empathy. Lots of people know how others feel and don't give a shit. What is lacking is people who actually care about what others feel. Honesty and admitting wrongdoing is a liability, wherein the risk outweighs the reward. Also, changing your mind on something is frowned upon as flip-flopping. You're encouraged to dig your heels and never admit you've got a new opinion. On a similar vein, people at work who would rather trust the guy who is always 100% sure about everything, even shit he doesn't know shit about, than an expert who hedges because they understand the answer isn't simple. Edit clarity. I've made a lot of decisions based on the advice I get from someone like that. Once I asked them for advice on something I was pretty confident on, and they gave me such a wrong answer so confidently it made me second guess everything they had ever told me. I seldom doubt people the first time when they were being confident because I thought they might have something that made them so sure about it. Once I realized that they were just dumb, I treated their next confidences with skepticism. Everything is subscription now, and I understand why. Good, reliable monthly income for a company, but it feels like everything is turning subscription. Movie services make sense. Maybe music. But Photoshop. Virtual machines. This is very old school of me, but I want to buy something once and then own it. I don't want to pay a monthly price for everything. I 100% refuse to rent software. There needs to be a substantial improvement in the new version for me to upgrade. Otherwise I'm not giving up any money. This shit is just rent-seeking behavior. The worst I've seen is 80% per month for a clunky third file viewer because you pay up. The fact that I don't know where to start. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Edit. Hey, don't downvote people just because they didn't get the reference. Not everyone knows the same things. I love all your methodicas. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Everyone is out for themselves, and somehow lying dishonesty is bad for everyone else, but okay for them. It never ceases to amaze me how self-centered people are, and it's very disturbing. I agree 100%. People only seem to care about their own comfort and convenience, so much so that they will literally go out of their way to make life inconvenient and uncomfortable for others to get their CC, even if it's for the smallest of things. Respect for other people seems to be a thing of the past more and more every day. It's the after effects of our society tipping the balance, where it is more beneficial to lie and deceive than it is to be honest and admit a mistake. Those who do admit to them are cancelled forever and shunned. Those who lie or refuse to admit mistakes are not. You end up with a situation where no one in power is ever able to reverse course, because doing so would be more harmful to themselves and their party. So they plow full steam ahead with bad ideas, and when those ideas fail they double down. When they fail again they gaslight you that they didn't fail. Anyone pointing out the mistake and how stupid this all is shunned by the mob as being a member of the opposing hated group. Politics and money run everything, and every good person who tries to get involved to make change doesn't make it far because the folks at the top are corrupt and run everything. Not the worst people have already said it. I hate how normalized needing to be famous on social media purely for validation and not for your content has become. I don't mean this as a dig, but if you are making content and want to become famous you should probably have a marketable skill: comedy, acting, singing, anything else prior to that, instead of trying to make one up after you've got a following. Propaganda. It's not really new, but it's something that I really hate and don't hear people talk about it very often. Social media is like an open mic night where everyone has a mic and they're all shouting at the same time, and half of them are absolutely wasted and don't even think before they speak. Basically everything. Such immense powers of innovation and problem solving, and we're letting greedy, shitty people run everything. The world seems tailor-made to protect stupid assholes from their consequences and inconvenience or even hurt decent people. The only way to not be terribly depressed all the time is to not pay attention to what's going on. That's pretty ducked up. Adjusting to adult life was a real sucker punch. How expensive it's getting to survive. True. Like sometimes when I work overtime I would be like, I work so hard, but to what end? I do have goals which I'm saving for, but seriously the basic needs alone makes it hard to save up. People make fun of those who live in vans and RVs, but at least they aren't anchored down or burdened by landlords and banks. I've always known this, but it really hit me this year how ducked up it is that we have homelessness. Like a human being is being denied a shelter because they are on hard times or cannot afford it. And then there are people who are hoarding their wealth and buying houses that are too big to live in. It's so sad, and it makes me feel like the lack of compassion is dreadful. I agree. And I think Finland is the example to follow here, giving out rental homes to the homeless and trying to help them stabilize and get back on their feet. I think it's currently the only country in the world where homelessness is falling instead of rising right now. The rental homes make sense too, after all. It's really hard for someone to try and take their life a new direction if they are busy trying to find out where they are going to stay the night, or even just find some food in order to survive. How much being a shit person is actually celebrated and encouraged. Littering. I see people throw small bits of trash out their windows constantly. It makes me furious. People exploit social issues and mental health awareness on social media and pretend to care by making posts about them saying they care and are there for those people. But they only make those posts to make themselves look good publicly. The fact is most of them do absolutely nothing to help in their personal lives, and they often ignore and turn their backs on the very people they publicly claim to care about and have empathy for. Actions speak louder than words. How people think their opinions are like facts, and if people don't feel the same way, they are the enemy. Social media has made people's opinions so much more important than they should be. But this is just my opinion, lol. Anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Isaac Asimov. I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes. Our critical faculties in decline. Unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming. Credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition. But especially a kind of celebration of ignorance. Carl Sagan, 1995. Politics getting into science. Always has been a problem. If anything, science has risen closer to having an even playing field these days. At least we aren't deciding if we orbit around the sun based on our opinions anymore. Anti-intellectualism and the superficiality of the internet that is impossible to escape. I wish everyone rebuilt their community in real life. I hate how we are constantly being divided every which way we can. We're all human regardless of our differences. And given the fact that in this day and age we have yet to find life on other planets, we should consider ourselves extremely lucky and start treating life as precious as it is. I don't know about the whole world, but this is for sure in the US. The combination of social media and reality TV seems to be leading people to believe they are like the main character in life, and that they have an audience. Like life is now a reality TV show, and they are stars online. How stupid people are. Everyone thinks they're ducking experts on everything, and no one listens to real subject matter experts anymore. No one wants to challenge their opinions or what they know. Oh yeah, if thing A is real, Then how come grossly misinformed starting presumption applied with horrible logic? Checkmate other people. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it anymore, and what's it seems weird and scary. It'll happen to you. Abe Simpson. Edited to correct to Abe from Homer. Can we rephrase the question to what do I not hate? Too long didn't read a perpetual state of apathy in many forms. Privacy. It scares me that so many people are surrendering to the idea of being constantly monitored at all times. I was talking with a younger co-worker about how I will never have an Alexa or any similar device in my home, since cell phones are bad enough. He responded very nonchalantly, "I've just accepted it at this point." That bothered me very deeply. Big box stores over local stores. I also despise how there's a growing acceptance towards big box corporate stores over local stores. I know way too many people who will buy literally everything from Amazon, Walmart, etc. because they don't feel like going out and shopping. I've lived in a large city for many years, and I'm seeing huge corporation chain stores replacing unique, charming, incredible stores that haven't been in some communities for decades. It's not a good feeling or sight to see when every community you go to begins to be an endless repetition. But everything is cheaper. Yeah. Everything also breaks more easily, and specialized workers will be replaced by workers that are just numbers on a corporate spreadsheet who know the company doesn't give a damn about them. I know I sound grouchy, but it is as if I'm seeing a real degradation and no one seems to care because it's easier, or that we should just accept that it's happening. How everything revolves around companies, businesses, etc. Our whole lives rely on working, and everything we see and do involves a business. I would like to see more leisure and family focus in the world. How everything is so ducking expensive. The lack of empathy everyone seems to have. Like some people care more about being right than actually having a conversation, and they're so close-minded it drives me nuts. Ducking media's companies. They took over the world. In my country, whatever you search about politics in Google, all the result will lead you to one single ducking multimedia corporation, since the others aren't as big and powerful as them. A lot of stuff already disappeared and nobody knew, because we never discovered it. Imagine deep sea species that only lived in certain areas now contaminated. They are now extinct, but we never saw them. How one greedy person can have a negative impact on 100 others. The fact that we can't unite as a species yet. It's going to kill us all if we can't start working towards a common goal. Not in my lifetime. Not in your children's. But eventually our species will pay for everything we do unless we unite and advance. The rampant stupidity. People aren't just misinformed or uninformed, they blatantly refuse to actually seek out information or accept facts. People are seemingly proud of their stupidity, and it just disgusts me. People seem to be outraged over everything, and a lot of it rightfully so, but my grandpa gave me a great bit of advice growing up, and with the invention of the internet it's only gotten more relevant. There are 1,000 hills you could die on. Make sure that hill is a mountain. The gap between rich and poor. It's ridiculous how some people are insanely rich, while there are people who starve most of the days. Tribalism and celebrity worship. Typing that made me feel like an eckbird, but man, if I have to hear Joe Rogan's opinion from someone else's mouth one more time, I'm going to move to the Klondike and disappear. The fact so many people have become completely incapable of dealing with others who have a difference of opinion in a calm, mature, rational manner. The second they learn you don't agree with them, they become the most hateful, intolerant, angry and sometimes violent people imaginable, all while crying that you are the hateful, intolerant one. Shaking my head.